Welcome to No Brainer MMA. What's up, Dan?
What's good?
How you been?
Pretty good. Sour taste left in my mouth after last week's main event.
Yeah, it was gross.
Two no contests and those were like two of the fights I was really looking forward to as well.
Right?
Um, I would say that was my most unsuccessful card of the year.
Damn, I think it might have been my best. I think I got two
Really?
wrong. Two out of four.
Dude, I hit on like almost every single one of the prelims, and then when it came to the main card,
Yeah.
like first of all, Manel Cape or Cop got robbed.
No, that's no robbery, Dan.
Fucking Chris Lee.
That's
Chris
no
Lee is a fucking
robbery.
meme. He is the new Cecil Peoples.
It was the razor thin. Razor
I'll
thin.
give it to you that.
Yeah.
Nick
That's no
Lau won
robbery.
like the first
I
one to
could
two
see that.
minutes
Yeah.
of the third round, but then
Uh-huh.
Cop put it on him at the end. And
Yeah.
now, like, you can see, like, Cop's just got to start better.
The first round was so slow.
He every time he fights, he has a really slow start, and he's on the big stage now. He's on Dana's good side for taking two short notice fights against two pretty fucking good guys. So
Yeah.
I say they give him at least another. They're at least giving him one
Give him
more
one
fight,
more.
if not two.
Yeah,
He
for
can
sure.
get two more fights, at least
Yeah.
in my opinion.
I agree with that for sure. Give him a
Cutting.
chance.
But yeah, the guy should not be cut. That guy has plenty of talent. And
Give him a fucking chance. You know what he should do? He should take a fight on a full camp and stop taking these short notice fights because they're not doing him any good.
they're not. He starts off too tentative, too slowly,
Yeah.
and he just
He needs
loses
a full
the first
camp.
round and puts himself in a hole immediately.
Yeah.
And then that second round, he fucking put it on him. Like, he looked fucking great. That was the Manel Cop that I thought was coming in.
I was scared the second round. I was like, oh fuck.
I was like, oh, okay, this is the guy, like, because he was one of my big prospects of 2021, and I'm looking at him like, this is why, like, he can fuck. He hits. He is super fast and can hit pretty fucking hard.
Yeah.
Rocked him in the first minute and just controlled the rest, and then third round he was again a little bit tentative. He kind of lost himself that his fight because I think he was the superior fighter that night, but he just didn't do enough. The other guy just kind of outlanded him. Looking onto it, Davey Grant with a huge fucking KO win over Jonathan Martinez.
That was sick.
Didn't see that coming.
Sick.
Dan Ige getting rid of Gavin Tucker in 22 seconds. Did not see that coming.
Yep.
I live tweeted it. We both took Mirsha Kirkinov, but said Ryan Spann is a fucking killer. So stay away from that one because of Ryan Spann's hand. Unfortunately, I didn't stay away from it.
Yeah, me either.
I've already lost. Thank God I hit on a $90 parlay yesterday in basketball.
Yeah, there you go.
But anyway, I digress.
Yeah, dude, that's great. I'm glad I got back in the winning column in this one because it's not good on the other side. You know,
yeah, I was
it's
about even this week, and I can't have that.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's some scary shit. So I'm blessed to be. I'd like to thank God for getting me back into this position where I am at right now.
Like I said, one of us is always fucking high, running on a hot streak.
For the most part,
your hot streak.
We're always positive though. So go by that rule of thumb. I think we've never had a negative card, even the worst. I don't think we've ever had a negative card. Ever.
Yeah, no, never negative.
Never. That's sacrilegious. All right, but we're gonna get right into this new fight card. What are we calling this?
Vegas? Oh wait, just to mention.
Yeah.
That Leon Edwards eye poke, man, I was just devastated.
Yeah. You know what?
I felt so bad for Bilal.
It's Leon Edwards' fault, dude. Like, you can't
be warned twice.
Yeah, and that was like the thumb too, like the fucking
thumb straight to the eye, and fucking Bilal's immediately in there crying because he knows he can't fight any. He knows the doctor's gonna call it off. His eye looked nasty.
The doctor was calling everything too because of last week's fiasco with what's his face on with
Peter Yan and Aljamain.
Yeah. So basically, when Derek Stewart, which Eric Anders kneed him 2 times in the head on the ground, and they didn't call the first one, and they called it on the second one, and they right away like Derek Stewart. I don't think. I mean, what is it, Darren Stewart? I don't think he was.
Aaron.
Yeah, I don't think he was even like rocked too hard. Like 5 minutes could have been like enough time, but the doctor was just like, nope, that was a bad look last
I
week.
mean, one thing is the doctor's right in their face and they could see the eyes. He was probably out of it. Like, he was
Yeah,
probably out of it when he looked him in
low
the
line.
eyes and he's like, I'm calling on this.
Yeah,
Um,
it's such a shame.
Such a shame because that was going to be a war. Um,
5 round war right there. Yeah.
Anders seemed to maybe have gassed himself out, and the dentist could have brought it to him. So,
First round was all dentist, right?
well, it was all in the first round. It
That's
was like
right. It ended the
momentum
first
shift at
round.
the end of the
Herb
first
Dean
round,
had
and
to call.
Anders rocked the dentist.
It started off with, yeah, Stewart got him, and then he got fucking rocked, and I was like, all right, he's gonna end it right here. But I think Anders was gonna get him, man. He looked pretty worse for wear at the end of that first round.
Yeah, I mean, you never know though, because like I said, he could have gassed himself out, and he could have been barely able to
He's
lift
been
his
known to
arms
do that.
after that.
Yeah,
We've seen it from champions. We've seen it from
seen
Amanda
it from
Nunes
him.
before. Anybody can gas themselves out if they put in that much to
We've
try to
seen it from
finish a
him
fight.
before.
What?
We've seen it from him before.
Yeah. So anyway, let's get right into that was our little recap
Yeah,
of last week's. Sucks we couldn't see a full 5 rounds of Leon and Bilal.
yeah,
But one thing I will say is Leon looked sharp and on point.
they look good.
He looked real good. I'm curious to see who the UFC matches him up against next. I sent
Top
out a
five.
tweet. I sent out a tweet. There's so much talent at the top of the division, but not enough action. So let's get some welterweight action going on. Let's get
Mhm.
some let's find out who the contender is. Let's find out who the coaches of tough are, and let's go
Let's
get them.
go. Let's get rolling. Let's get the ball rolling.
All right. So yeah, let's get into it, Connor. Take the
Yeah,
floor.
I'll take it away. We're going to start off with JB Buys versus Bruno Silva. Buys has a 9-2 record. He's making his UFC debut. He lost a contender series fight to Joby Sanchez, who is 0-2 in the UFC and was cut in 2018, and a win over Jacob Silva on the contender series, where Silva didn't even land a strike. So literally, it was like two different. It was pretty much the same performance from him. He has never seen the judges' scorecard with 5 wins by sub, 4 by KO, TKO, and trains out of Fortis MMA.
Decent, Jim.
Yeah, so far, like a pretty decent resume. He's taken on Bruno Silva, 0-2 and 1 no contest in the UFC. Has a 10-5 record with 2 draws, just gross. Look, MMA record that is. Has a draw over Casey Kenny, and exhibition bouts from Ultimate Fighter Brazil, which kind of I get why his record might look a little weird. Both guys are good with takedowns. I give Buys the advantage on the feet though. He's got heavy hands for a guy that's a flyweight. Silva's last 2 losses were a decision, and the fact that Buys has never been to one makes me a little nervous. Um, Although like flyweight division is desperate needing talent, I think UFC wants to build up the 24-year-old in Buys. So that's what I'm gonna roll with.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. Bruno Silva is coming off of 2 straight losses to David Dovrak and Tagir Ulambikov, both in 2020. This is his make it or break it fight. And you got JP Buys, who's coming in on a hot streak, trying to build up his name. Bruno Silva is 30 years old, and JP Buys is 24. So this kid's young. He's hungry. He's fighting on the same card as his wife, and
Very weird.
yeah, that's weird. Like
Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
I haven't seen that's got to be a first.
Yeah, but I mean, it's pretty plain and simple. I'm gonna take Buys in this fight.
Yeah.
Little spoiler alert. I'm gonna take both the buys uh in this fight card. So
Yeah, this fight I feel like is just like a silver platter for buys. They're handing it to him. They want him to do well.
yeah, they want him to do well. They're
Want him
trying to
to win.
establish more names in the flyweight division.
Totally.
Yeah, Pies takes it.
Young
Followed
guy.
by UD.
Yeah, and he's got heavy hands, man. He's got some real punching power for flyweight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're both gonna agree. We're both going buys.
Yes,
Easy.
sir.
And moving right into the next one, Julia Alvia versus Julija Solenrenko.
I think it's both Julia. Just
Julia?
different pronunciations.
Okay.
Um yeah, so Julia Avila is they're both coming off of losses actually. Um Avila is coming off of a decision loss to Sajara Eubanks, Sarge, and Stoilarenko is coming off of a loss to Yana Kunitsawa, um, which was her UFC debut. Her fight before that was a split decision win over Elisa Berzosa. Um, I'm pretty big on Julia Avila. She's 32 years old. She's on the south side of 30, but like if you look at her resume, she's got wins over Pani Kianzad, finished Alexa Connors, knocked out Ashley Dean, finished also knocked out Gina Mazzani. Like this girl finishes fights. They call her the Raging Panda. I like the nickname. Julia Starenko doesn't fuck around. She doesn't have a nickname. Um, yeah. Um, I think Avia just gets it done. Pos- Good chance stoppage first second round.
Yeah, dude.
I'm gonna just make it plain and simple. She's a nasty striker.
Yeah, I totally agree. Julia Avila, 2-1. She already beat Pani Kianzad, who I already think very highly of Pani Kianzad, right?
I think pretty highly of Pani
Yeah,
Kianzad.
right. She's good, and she already beat her, and she already beat Gina Mazzani, who's just a veteran, who's very well rounded. So the fact that, and her first career loss, oh, her first UFC loss to Sarge Eubanks, that's nothing to frown about.
Sarge is a vet.
Yeah,
Like
and
just
that fight showed that she did struggle a little bit on the ground.
mm-hmm.
So we got to take that into like note for the future. And that Sorlin Ranko chick, 0-2, like you said in the UFC. She seems to be just a stand-up fighter. Um,
Well, she had three straight arm bars actually in 2019. So
oh
she
yeah,
has she has
that wasn't UFC, right?
no, it was like KOK and Celtic Gladi. It was just regional promotions.
Yeah,
Um yeah, it's a tough one.
yeah. She
She
fought
fought
Kunin
she
Skaya.
fought in tough 28 too, actually.
She
And she lost to Pani Kianzad back in 2018. That's some MMA math for you. But
that's finest.
yeah, I'm gonna take Avila in this fight. I'm gonna almost lock it. I'm not gonna fully lock it, but pretty high confidence level that Avila gets done.
Yeah, I think this is like a morale boost for Avia. We saw problems on the ground, like I said before, but a fighter like Soren Renko, where in the UFC we've seen her just on the feet, and but yet it still has 34% striking accuracy, so not even that good. Hasn't even attempted a takedown in her UFC career. So I think Avia finishes on the feet and takes it decisively.
I agree.
Yeah. All right, cool. Moving right into the next one. We're both agreeing. We're going Julia Avila. And the next one is Montel Jackson versus Jesse Strader. Jackson is 3-2 in the UFC, losing only to Brett Johns and Ricky Simone, two pretty solid guys.
Very solid.
Were both fights he got taken down a lot, 7 and 8 times respectively. Although he is a very solid ground game. Not to mention some pretty amazing stand up with a plus 2.32 striking differential, and also averages 4.3 takedowns per fight at 77% takedown accuracy. So just very solid wherever the fight can go. He's taken on Jesse Strader, who's making his UFC debut. Holds a 5-1 MMA record. Like very early on, he has a loss to Marcelo Rojo, who we just saw last week in a fight where he lost, but he looked like a fucking badass.
He
And
did. He impressed me.
yeah, I want to see him again. He was fun to watch. He also has a win over Michael Jackson. Not that Michael Jackson though. But besides that, he's really early on in his career. Has a lot of getting better to do. I think. I don't think he's really ready for the UFC. Even like this is a stretch for him. And
I
Jackson's
agree.
already a very well-rounded fighter and has a name for himself.
Oh yeah.
So I'm
He's
going
got wins
Jackson.
over Brian Kelleher, Andre Sukhatov, and Felipe Colares.
Yeah, he's already established. You know,
Established
Jesse
for sure.
Schrader is 5-1. Like, who is this? Who? Where did they pull? They pulled this guy off the street.
Yeah, and the odds are reflectory towards of what you're saying because
What was
Montel
that?
Jackson's the biggest favorite of the night at -6.
Oh, saw that coming. How did this, dude? How the fuck did this guy get this fight?
I think it's a case of short notice.
Oh my
I'm
goodness,
not 100% sure,
this is crazy.
but
Hopefully he doesn't get. Hopefully Montel Jackson doesn't get starched. We look like idiots.
yeah, I mean,
I don't see it though.
this guy is Jesse Strader is coming off of 2 straight knockout wins, and 4 of his 5 wins are by knockout. But he's also been knocked out before in the last 2.5 years. So it's tough. It's not tough. It's pretty one sided. But
Gonna be a
it's
tough
do
fight.
you put money on Montel Jackson when he's a -650 favorite? Not really. If you're gonna put money, put it on the unknown guy that could maybe knock him out.
Yeah, put some on Brunson, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, we're both going Montel Jackson.
Yes, sir.
Both going Montel Jackson. Moving right into the next, Trevin Giles versus Roman Dolidze.
Yes, sir. Okay, yeah, Trevor Giles. You might remember him from fainting before he fought Kevin Holland.
He fucked my DraftKings up so bad that day. I was pissed.
Did you have Holland?
No, I had him, I think, and some or both.
Well, that was a big mistake in your. um, Delete, if you remember his last fight against John Allen, he looked pretty decent. He just didn't have that much output, if I'm remembering correctly.
He didn't have
Um,
like that killer instinct that we saw in the first fight.
yeah. That being said, though, I think that Trevin like this is going to be more of a stand-up fight. What's it called? Trevin Giles has won most of his fights by knockout, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
He's coming off of 2 straight wins off of James Krause and Bevon Lewis. With that win over James Krause being a pretty close split decision, but yeah, he's fighting Roman Dolidze, who is eight 8-0 and as a MMA fighter and has finished all but one of his fights. So he is a pretty big finisher. The only thing that scares me is his output. I don't think he has enough volume when he fights. So he definitely needs to step up on his volume level. But overall, I think that Roman Dolidze is gonna be able to get it done and stop Trevin Giles, whether it's by knockout or submission. We don't know, but I got Dolidze. I think he hurts him, either finishes it, follows him to the ground and finishes it, or he stands up, or he submits him, or he drops him. Guy falls to the ground, he submits him, or he punches him into oblivion. So I got Roman Dolidze in this one. Pretty confident as well. He
Yeah,
just needs more output, and I think he knows that he needs more output and
yeah, he's
volume.
getting better though. He's very early on. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
he's
so
32, but he's has like he's a young 32.
yeah,
He hasn't really been hit.
yeah, and like I'm also like I'm a big fan of a couple of people on this. I love Roman Dolidze. 2-0 in UFC at light heavyweight, dropping down to middleweight for this fight. Um,
Interesting.
doesn't have the most extensive resume, but he's the real deal for sure. Like he might not have like the best names on his record right now, but he is that good. He really is. He's punching power at 205, so I can imagine like his hands will be even heavier at middleweight. Has a submission game. 3 out of 8 of his wins by sub. 2 had heel hooks. He's
Hmm.
taken on Trevin Giles, like you said, 4-2 in the UFC, with wins over James Krause. Um, Really well-rounded fighter. Very quick, technical on the feet. 80% takedown defense. 87% takedown accuracy. Um, Although Giles has more experience, and I feel like he's the bigger name out of the two. I don't know for sure, but that's how I feel.
Yeah.
Um, Delice has a clear path to victory for me, though. Giles has 2 losses, has only 2 losses, and both came by submission, and has shown to struggle with guys with like really good submission games, losing to Gerald Meulchart by guillotine choke and Zach Cummings after Zach Cummings got a knockdown. Um, I think this fight takes place mostly on the feet, though, and I think Delice is able to get it done.
Yeah, I think Giles gets caught with something,
I think, dude, I think he's subbing him. This might be a Delice sub
but due to a knockdown.
due to a knockdown. Yeah, of course. All right, cool. We're agreeing. Delice, Roman Delice. Moving right into the next one. Grant.
4-4 on
What
on agreement.
is that right? Already? I didn't even know. I didn't even realize. That's crazy.
Yeah, we're agreeing with
Let's see if we
everything.
can keep it going with this one. Grant Dawson, Leonardo Santos.
Sir,
You want to take it, or you want me to take it?
you got it.
All right, cool. Grant Dawson, 16-1 record, 4-0 in the UFC. Moving up a weight class to lightweight. Really great submission game. Has 14 wins by stoppage, and his last loss coming by all the way back in 2016. He's taken on Leonardo Santos, who he's a really weird character. This guy, he's undefeated in UFC, 7-0-1, one draw, making his
Wins
debut.
over Kevin Lee and Anthony Rocco Martin.
Yeah, and he made his all the way. He made his debut all the way back in 2013. He's been around for a while. He's
Yeah,
41 years
that
old.
was 5 or 6 years
Yeah,
ago.
yeah. Um, but what was I gonna say? He's shown to be a very solid fighter at the 155-pound division over the years. He's 41. Dawson's 27. Santos is coming off a fight against a guy making his debut, so I feel like they're trying to feed him to up and coming guys. I think this might be like a passing of a torch kind of fight. Both guys have great submission games, but I think Dawson has the advantage on the feet, and I think that Dawson isn't killing his body doing the weight cut anymore. So compared to a 41-year-old Santos who's making a weight cut, I think that Dawson's going to be a lot quicker and won't slow down as much or as fast. So
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Dawson in this one.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. His last 4 wins are against Grant Dawson, I'm speaking of, are against Julian Erosa, Mike Trizano, Darek Miner, and Narimani. Um, and Leonardo Santos is 41 years old. It's hard for me to come up on here and give you a reasonable reason why a 41-year-old guy should be taken over a guy who's what, 27
Yeah.
27 years old, who's on a killer win streak himself.
And moving up in weight to a better weight for him.
Yeah. He had an active 2020. He fought 2 times. He was supposed to fight Chaz Skelly actually at 2 separate times. So this guy's been hungry. He's been trying to fight. Yeah, 2 wins in 2020, with one being a finish on Derek Miner. Yeah, I'm gonna take Grant Dawson all day. That I might lock.
Yeah, I also I really like this one. The thing with Leonardo Santos, I mentioned it earlier. Like I said, he was a weird guy. He's fought since 2013, like I said, but fought in 2020, 2019, 2016, 20, like he takes a fight like one every couple years almost, it seems like, as he got older. I don't really like the look at that at all. You know, he's slowing down, I think. It's not a good look to have. And I
Yeah,
think if he would have fought like 2 or 3 times a year, he could have really made a name for himself. He was sick.
He was.
You know what I mean? But he just didn't. Not enough fights. That's not enough fights. 7 fights over the course of 7 years, 8 years.
Yeah,
All
you
right.
can't be having that.
Yeah, can't be having that. We're both going Grant Dawson in that one. Moving right into the next one. Dan, you want to take it?
Yeah, I'll take the next two. What's it called? Yeah, we got Macy Chiasson versus Marion Renault. Macy Chiasson is fighting out of Fortis MMA, 5'11" with the 72-inch reach, fighting in the bantamweight division. She's got good size on her for sure. She's the longer and lankier of the two. Marion Renault is 5'6" with 68-inch reach, and she's 43 years old. So again, this is another case of, and she's coming off of 3 straight losses to Kat Zingano, Yana Kunitsawa, and Raquel Pennington. Her last win was back in February of 2018 against Tara McMahon, where she won via triangle choke. Um, Again, hard for me to fucking choose somebody who's coming off of 3 straight losses and is in their 40s. No
43.
disrespect to Marion Renault, but I'm going to take Macy Chiasson all day. I get she has much less experience, but she's 29 years old with a 5-1 record, with her only loss being to Lena Landsberg, who is a stud. She has a finishes over Gina Mazzani, Penny Kianzad, and Sarah Moras. Like this girl could be very high level in the future.
Yeah.
So keep an eye out. She's good. She's in her amateur career. She fought Felicia Spencer back in 2014. So that's like she was like 22 years old back then.
That's
So
crazy.
like she's fought some of the best for a while. In her amateur career, she has been knocked out, but I don't think Marianne Renault is somebody who's just gonna go knock her out. At 43 years old. Um, but Marianne Renault, on the other hand, does have like a great resume on her hand. Like she has wins over Jessica Andrade. Um, what's it called? And Sarah McMahon. Um,
Yeah.
Ashley Evans Smith lost to a split decision, and her last 3 fights: Kat Zingano back in 2018, stud. Yana Kunitsawa, obviously pretty high level, and Raquel Pennington, also pretty high level. Um, this is just kind of like a stepping stone matchup the UFC is setting up for Macy Chiasson. So I'm gonna take Macy by decision most likely.
Yeah, Dan, you really summed it up well. Chesson, great stand-up fighter, plus 2.18 strike differential, 70% takedown defense, tall and lanky for the division, like you said. She's got a 5-inch height, 4-inch reach advantage on Renault. Totally agree. Stepping stone fight. Renault's far too old to be competing at a high level, and Chesson is in her prime, 27. I think it's a real stepping stone fight, and I'm gonna agree with you 100%.
That's what I like to hear.
Both going Chesson.
Yes, sir. And that'll bring us into our next one. We got Cheyenne Buys, the Warrior Princess versus Montserrat Ruiz. Um, Ruiz is no slouch. She's taking this fight on I think about 12 days notice.
Oh wow.
Um, if you saw her last fight back in July, she had a dope submission win over Janessa Morandin. Um, but the issue here is I don't think, even though Cheyenne Buys is younger, I don't think she's ready for Cheyenne Buys yet. Cheyenne Buys is shown to be fighting at a pretty high level already. Um, she looked great in her Contender Series fight against Hillary Rose, and like she was supposed to fight Kay Hansen, and that was a fight I was very I was teeter tottering on, but was probably going to take Buys in that fight. I think Kay Hansen is just a little too young.
Mm-hmm.
She showed that in her last fight. I forgot who Kay Hansen fought, but she lost her
She did.
last fight. Um, yeah. Anyway, Cheyenne Buys is kind of like a hyped prospect coming into the UFC.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking earlier, kind of like Paige Van Zandt comparisons.
Totally.
Um, I think she gets it done in this fight, probably unanimous decision. Ruiz could have a solid career ahead of her, and props to her for taking this fight on 12 days' notice. But like I said, just the lack of preparedness and having to take on somebody who's the UFC views very highly.
Yeah.
The UFC obviously went through this with a fine tooth comb and was like, okay, you'll fight her, because they're trying to build up the buys, Cheyenne Buys' resume and name. So yeah, I'm gonna take Cheyenne Buys in this fight. Probably good chance decision, but we'll have to see. She's a monstrous favorite. She's sitting, last I saw, yeah, she's sitting at about a minus 350, minus 360 favorite. I think that's warranted because she is fighting a girl on 12 days notice. No, I like this girl could be a killer, but she's only got 12 days to prepare for somebody who she wasn't expecting to fight. So we'll see what happens, but I'm gonna take Cheyenne Buys in this fight again fairly confidently.
Yeah, Bai's great performance in that Contender Series fight. She
Yeah,
had
it looked amazing.
the plus 3.8 striking differential and stuffed all 5 of her opponent's takedowns. Um, yeah, just put on like a really well-rounded performance that you want to see. She's got an amateur fight against Jillian Robertson back in 2015. I think Ruiz.
She was like 18 though, you
Isn't
have
that
to think.
crazy? Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, like she's
Unreal.
25 now. That was
Yeah,
7 years ago.
yeah.
She was 18 fighting Jillian Robertson. So
Jillian Robertson's been around. We see she's good.
she's good.
She's gonna be around. You know, kind of like around that top 10. Top 15 area. I think.
She's gonna always be either ranked or nearly ranked. She'll
Yeah,
be in the top 20 for her entire career.
exactly.
Jillian Robertson's a stud.
Yeah,
I'm a fan of hers actually.
yeah, me
I
too.
love her submission game.
Yeah, it's sick.
So yeah. With that being said, that's experience that she does have. Like she's grown from that. She was 18, 7. Like I think she started her amateur career at 17 years old. Like
Wild.
that's impressive.
It
You
is.
know. Um,
Yeah.
she's
Ruiz.
born in 95, and
Yeah.
yeah, I think she was maybe 19 when she fought
Christ.
Jillian Robertson, or 20, but still
Good for her.
very, very young into her career.
Good for her, man.
And she's obviously improving and getting a lot better. So we'll see what happens. But I got Buys all day.
Yeah, Ruiz has a 9-1 record, but she is making her UFC debut. She fights out of King's MMA. Marvin Vittori, Beneil Dariush, and Ariana Lipsky. And she also fights at 10th Planet with Eddie Bravo as her coach. I am gonna ride with Ruiz as the underdog in this one, but this fight was one of the toughest for me to choose. As weird as that saying for this fight, for this card, I mean, like it was actually the toughest. When I think the odds should be a pick 'em, dead even. I don't know why it's so one sided. Honestly, I think it's a lot
It's the
closer.
hype train number one,
Yeah,
and it's the short notice number two. I mean, if you look through Ruiz's career, she hasn't been fighting world beaters. And the time she fought Danielle Taylor, who's an actual decent fighter with a decent resume on her hands, she lost. Um, so yeah, I can't confidently pick the underdog in this one. But then again, we're in MMA. Anything
right,
can happen.
right. Yeah, this one is so the sample size for this fight is so small. Like it's hard to do any research into the fight. You basically got to look by the record, see what's going on. You got to look at small details, and this is just, yeah, it was a tough one. But yeah, for sure, we're gonna disagree on that one. Dan's going Buys, I'm going Ruiz. Right into the next Song Keenan versus Max Griffin. Keenan is 4-1 in the UFC, but has a pretty padded record if you look at it. His last 4 UFC fights were against fighters with a combined. His last 4 UFC wins, he's fought against fighters with a combined 1 UFC win in between all of them. He's got heavy hands, but kind of sucks on the ground. Only has 45% takedown defense. um,
Yeah.
and has never recorded a takedown in his UFC career. He's
I
taken
was gonna try to keep the fight standing for
Oh,
sure.
for sure. Yes. Total stand up guy. Very one sided. He's taken on Max Griffin, who has never impressed me ever in his UFC career and just stresses me out every time I like bet on him or choose him. Um, he's 4-6 in the UFC. Definitely a more well rounded fighter, 100% more well rounded than Keenan. Can handle himself on the feet and can not afraid to shoot for takedowns. Song is going to have a 5-inch reach disadvantage and has a very one sided approach to fighting. I think I hate to say it because Max Griffin is just like always all over the place. You never know which version of him you're gonna get. But I'm gonna go with Max Griffin in this one. I think he's gonna be able to get it done.
Yeah, I'm gonna disagree, and I'm gonna take the underdog in this one. I'm looking at his previous performances dating back to 2017, and he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's 3-5 in that time. They both have losses to Alex Morano on their record, which is nothing to hang your head about.
Yeah, he's good.
He lost a fight to Cowboy Oliveira back in March. Um, yeah, Max Payne Griffin, 35 years old compared to the 31-year-old Song Kenan. Um, it's a tough one. It's a tough one to decide. The odds are giving Griffin a 2-1 favorite, which is kind of crazy to me. I don't know. Is that just me or is that a
No,
little
I
crazy?
don't. I think Max Griffin has showed us nothing for us to be confident to put money on him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I would stay away from this fight.
Yeah,
Let's see what Song Kenan has in this fight against a guy who at least has like decent UFC experience.
yeah. He's been around. He's got 10 fights in the UFC. Not a lot of. He's negative, but what are you gonna do? This is
Yeah,
the fight they gave us.
yeah.
I'm
We'll,
excited for this
we'll
one.
see what happens. I'm not too excited for this, but
Nah,
we will see.
we will see. We are disagreeing. Dan's going with Song Kanan. I'm getting it right this time, and I'm going with Max Griffin. And we're gonna move right into the next run. Adrian Yanez versus Gustavo Lopez. You want me to take it away, or you got it, Dan?
You got it.
Yanez has 2 KOs under the UFC umbrella, and both first round finishes. He's got a plus 3.4 strike differential over the span of 2 fights. So you got to take that with a grain of salt. But he does have 100% takedown defense also. Take it with a grain of salt. 4 for 4 for takedowns. He defended all of them. He's also going to be having a 3-inch reach advantage. He's taken on Gustavo Lopez, 1-1 in the UFC. Lost his debut to Merab Davishvili, who is just a stud takedown. We see him get like 20 takedowns a fight. But
Yeah, that's nothing to hang your head about either.
no, in that fight, he actually got taken down taken down 13 times during that fight. And he also Merab outstruck him 73-14. So Merab he's the real deal. But enough about Merab. He has a minus. Lopez has a minus 2.82 striking differential. So
I mean, that Marab fight definitely didn't help his
for sure,
odds on that,
for
you
sure.
know?
This is also great.
And he's only got 2 fights under the UFC umbrella.
Yeah, it's the same as the first one. Both guys have 2 fights, so it's very the numbers are weird. Lopez has fought UFC caliber fighters in the past: Andre Ewell, John Castaneda, losing both, and it seems to struggle at high level competition, like UFC level competition. Although he's coming off that win, I think Yanez has the advantage on the feet, but Lopez has the advantage on the ground. But I'm going Yanez definitely. He's got the higher ceiling, and yeah, for sure, going with Yanez on this one.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you 100%. I think this is another strike. I think this is a striker versus grappler matchup. Giannis just needs to keep Gustavo from
Yeah,
utilizing those takedowns,
hmm
which I think he'll be able to, and hopefully get another first round knockout under his belt.
yeah, I could totally see it.
This guy's a promising prospect to watch in the future.
Yeah, fun to
Not
watch.
only did he win his contender series fight in 39 seconds, he followed it up with a nasty head kick back in October. So
Beautiful.
um, this guy's got a high. this guy's got a high ceiling, so we'll see what happens with that.
So, but I just want to say,
I'm a
you know,
little hesitant to jump on the hype train, but with a good showing over Gustavo Lopez, I will be on the Adrian Yanez hype train.
yeah, although Gustavo Lopez like absorbs like 3 more strikes than he lands, I am going to tell you that he does have heavy hands. He does have some decent punching power. Um, he doesn't land a lot of them, but when he does, like they have a lot of power behind them. But still going to go Yanez. You're going to go Yanez right then.
Yeah, I'm taking Yanez for
All
sure.
right, we're agreeing. And moving right into the next, Gregor Gillespie versus Riddell. Excuse me. Gregor Gillespie, I was telling Dan earlier, he's one of my favorite fighters. Um, he's a takedown technician. Averages 7 takedowns a fight. 13-1 MMA record. 6-1 in the UFC. He's coming off his first career loss. He tasted defeat against Kevin Lee.
Yeah, he got his head kicked off.
You know what? You would get your head kicked off too against Kevin Lee.
So would I. Yes.
His grappling is so elite that like um not one person in 7 UFC fights has even attempted a takedown on him. Isn't that insane? Not
That
even
is
one
pretty insane.
attempt on Gillespie. He's got a plus 1.44 striking differential, pretty good. He's taking on Brad Riddell, who's undefeated in 3 UFC fights, holds a 9-1 MMA record, with all UFC fights coming by decision. Riddell fights out of both Tiger Muay Thai and City Kickboxing, which is like the 2 best striking camps in the world right now. Would you agree
Yeah,
with that, Dan?
I can. Yeah,
Like
I mean, unless anybody under Trevor Whitman's tutelage, I could
that's
also argue is
that's
on that level.
yeah,
But
but like
Rose,
yeah, but the fact that he's in both of these is ridiculous to me. I can't believe it.
yeah,
He's
he
also a
bounces
pretty
back and forth.
well-rounded fighter too. He's got a plus 1.74 striking differential, averages 1 takedown, 60% takedown defense. The physical stats in this fight are identical, both 5'7", both with 71-inch reaches. But I think this is a classic striker grappler, and I think Gillespie is gonna take it.
Yeah, I'm probably going to agree with you here. Again, I'm not as confident as you are in this fight
Right.
because
No,
we saw
Riddell is good. Riddell is good.
Riddell is good, and we saw holes in Gregor Gillespie's last fight against Kevin Lee. He didn't look like he wanted to be there standing up. Um, Riddell can give him the same problems. So that's one thing that worries me
For sure.
going into it. I don't want to tell everybody to just not bet on every single fight, but this is a fight that I would maybe also think about staying away from or at least hedge your bet. Um, Riddell has definitely the capability um, to knock out Gregor Gillespie. He has I know he's gotten decision in his last 4 fights, but he's
Mhm.
on a 6 fight winning streak himself.
Right.
Um, he got 2 pretty nasty knockouts in Glory. 3 actually. He actually knocked out Song Kanan
Oh, really?
back in 2017.
Oh,
Um,
wow. Shout out.
goes all
Get another mention.
we're going full circle. But yeah, honestly, I'm gonna switch it on the fly. I'm gonna take
Okay.
Riddell. I'm probably gonna regret this decision. If he could just stop the wrestling machine and Gregor Gillespie is at an extreme disadvantage when it comes to the feet. Um, I know he hasn't fought in when was it the Kevin Lee knockout? Yeah,
2019?
it was 2019 in November.
Yeah. It's
So he's
been a minute.
almost a year and a half off. I'm hoping during that year and a half off, he is trying to sharpen up his striking,
God,
but
let's.
at the wrong side of 30, coming off of a brutal knockout loss. I don't know if his chin is probably recovered, but there's only so much chin you can have.
Right.
So
His striking isn't terrible though. He's got decent striking. It can improve for sure, but I don't think he's a fucking slouch when it comes to
it's
standing.
nowhere near a guy who's under Tiger Muay Thai and City Kickboxing.
No, no, but he's not a slouch. He's not like just a guy that's going to go out there and bear hug you to the ground. He actually can like throw hands.
Yeah, but you saw his fight versus Kevin Lee, and he looked uncomfortable. It's like he sensed he was getting knocked out coming. Like I rewatched that, and going like up until a minute and a half ago, I had Gregor Gillespie, and I just talked myself into taking Riddell in this
Hey
fight.
man, whatever you gotta do.
Probably gonna. There's a good chance I change my mind again,
Oh no.
but that just shows how iffy I am in this fight. And the odds I'm looking at, let's check these odds on
Yeah, what do
this.
they look like?
Gregor Gillespie is a minus 245 favorite, and Brad Riddell is plus 205. I'm seeing. So he's a 2-1 underdog. If you're looking to maybe cash in a little parlay with him and Kevin Holland or something, like you can make some serious money off of that. So it's a tough one. It's a tough one for me to call, but I'm going to take Brad Riddell. I talked myself into it. I might end. There's a good chance I could end up regretting this. We were on track to agree the most we've
We were.
ever agreed, I think. But
I
what are we
think we're
missing
agreeing on the
twice
next one.
already? This is gonna be the third.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was gonna agree with you, but I don't know. I just talked to myself out of it for
Hey
some
man.
reason. And this has either worked for me or this hasn't worked for me in the past. We'll see. We'll see. This fight will be a deciding factor whether or not I talk myself into it.
Yeah.
But
All right. That's
yeah, I'm going to take Riddell in this fight.
okay.
Connor's got Gregor Gillespie.
Yes, sir.
It's a tough one though.
Yeah.
It's one guy's at an advantage. Like if Gillespie gets him down on the ground, very huge advantage.
Yeah.
Riddell, when it's on the feet, very big advantage.
Right.
Every fight starts standing. So I'll take Riddell for that. But that. I'll stop rambling on from there. Yeah, I'm very uneasy about this.
All right. That's fair to say. I'm going Gregor Gillespie. Dan's going Brad Riddell. And we're gonna move on then to our main event: Derek Brunson versus Kevin Holland.
Yeah, take it away.
Take it away, Derek Brunson, UFC veteran, made his Strikeforce debut back in 2011, and
I
is
remember it.
you? Do you remember it?
Yeah, I was watching every single Strike Force card back then.
Unreal.
I loved Strike Force. It was so fucking fun to watch.
Great fighters came out of that. Since becoming, he's 12-5 in his UFC career.
I remember him finishing Lamumba Sayers back in 2011.
Lumumba Sayers. Haven't heard that name in a while.
Or ever.
Or ever.
I remember Brett Rogers, but let's stop talking about Strike Force.
Yeah. He's currently on a 3-fight winning streak against pretty good competition. Most recently, coming off an upset victory versus Edmund Shabazian. Gave Edmund Shabazian his first career loss, actually.
And he beat him up.
He beat him up.
He beat him up bad. That fight should have been stopped in between rounds, but due to the inept nature of Edmund Terverdian, who is the head coach of Glendale Fight Club, I think this guy should be removed from MMA because he's hurting people. He destroyed Ronda Rousey's career. He destroyed Travis Brown's career, and he's going to destroy Edmund Shabazian's career if he keeps fucking going forward with this guy. Fuck Edmund Shabazian. I don't give a fuck if you're a fan of any of the guys who fight under him. He is
No, not Edmund
fucking
Shabazian.
bringing you down. That guy does not know how to coach. When your fighter gets beat up for fucking 5 minutes, you don't say, hey, you're doing fucking great. You're lighting them up. That's not what you fucking say. I'm fucking ranting right now, but I don't give a fuck. Fuck Edmund Terverdian. You literally got Shabazian so much unnecessary damage in that fight, and it pissed me off. Stop that fight in between rounds. That fight should have been stopped in the second. And you just let him go out on a third round and just get fucking flatlined. That's what you do to fighters. Shabazian, get out of there. Go to Trevor Whitman. Go to Fortis MMA. Go to any of these other great places. Go to ATT. You can, sky's the limit for you, but that guy is holding you back. Fucking Count Dracula and his fucking oh, I fucking hate him. Anyway.
Oh God.
I had to just sound off on Edmund Terverdian.
That's totally cool. That's fine by me. I hate that scumbag. Shabazian had so much hype, and that was the problem with him coming into that fight. Looking back on it, like there was a huge change in competition from his first 5 wins to fighting Derek Brunson. You know what I mean? Like it was way too big of a stepping stone for him, obviously. It was a crazy jump, and like you said, that guy's a fucking like idiot and shouldn't be in the sport. I totally agree with you on that. He's taking on Kevin Holland. He's got a 4-inch reach advantage. Has a plus 1.97 striking differential, 57% striking accuracy, 9-2 UFC record. This has some crazy punching power, like we just saw him getting a KO win versus Jacare Souza off his back. He's won his last 5
One of the most insane knockouts I've ever seen.
for sure. For sure, unreal. I didn't think it was real when I was watching it. I was like, "What? This is choreographed." This fight can go, this fight can go one of two ways, in my opinion. Honestly, Derek Brunson takes Holland down most of the fight, or is able to do some damage to him on the ground, or Holland can KO Brunson on the feet. Brunson has been KO'd 3 times since 2016, and 5 out of his last 6 losses have come by KO. I think Kevin Holland will be able to get the better of Brunson on the feet, but Brunson is a live dog in this fucking fight. I think I would not hesitate putting some money on him. I really like him as the underdog, but I am gonna go with Kevin Holland in this one.
Yeah. I'm going to agree with you.
Drastically underrated.
Derek Brunson has a phenomenal career to look back on. Again, win over Edmund Shabazian, looked phenomenal in that fight. He's knocked out Lyoto Machida, knocked out Daniel Kelly, knocked out Uriah Hall, knocked out Sam Alvey, knocked out Ed Herman, knocked out Rowan Canario, has a win over Lorenz Larkin, win over Chris Lieben. He's lost to Jacare twice. Was it both by head kick? No, one was by head kick. And I hate the narrative that Derek Brunson's a gatekeeper, because ever since I know it's only one fight since he's made his camp switch, but he looked phenomenal in his last fight. He surprised me. I had Shabazian because I thought Shabazian was like the next guy up.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, he's fighting under Count Dracula, and he's probably sucking his blood at night while he sleeps. So
it's like the cupping on the back, or like you put the cupping on like your
and Edmund Perverti just sipping on it.
I can see it. That fucking snake in the grass.
Yeah, the real snake in the grass is that guy. The guy fucking Ronda's dropping Olympic level boxers, male and female, in the gym.
Drop Mike Tyson in the gym. Like, what the fuck is this?
Like, and then she fights Holly Holm, and you see how bad her stand-up is, and you're like, oh, this guy's just full of shit. And after that first round, he said she was doing great.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I keep going back to how much I hate Edmund Pervertian. But that guy's just a fucking ass clown of a fucking MMA coach, and he should close his gym to the safety of fighters.
Who else still fights there? Do you know?
Edmund Shabazian fights there.
I know, like, anyone else though.
I know a bunch of careers that died there,
and fighters that almost died.
Yeah, like what happened? Let's see what fighters they have.
Yeah, I was about to look too, actually.
I'm curious to see.
Shabazian's brother, obviously.
They have Ronda Rousey still on their first front page.
Yeah, she's not coming back.
They got Edmund Shabazian. I think that's about it, and a couple boxers.
Yeah. What's he doing?
Travis Brown, whose career sank after going there too. Travis Brown at one point was considered. I thought was, wow, this guy could be a contender in the future. Anyway, I'm digressing. Derek Brunson is no slouch, is what I'm saying. But when it comes to really high level guys that might be title guys in the future, remember what happened against him and Izzy?
Mm-hmm.
Remember that shit talk? Remember how he shit talked Izzy and said he was too skinny and he didn't have knockout power, and Izzy dropped him like 4 times and was showboating the whole time? He couldn't take Izzy down. Kevin Holland doesn't have as good takedown defenses.
No, he doesn't.
I would say.
No.
But Kevin Holland's head coach is Travis Luter, who is one of the best black belts on the planet. And he has a black belt in jiu-jitsu. So, I wouldn't be like, and he's got such long limbs that like, I think he's going to be able to get up from those exchanges, and he can go 5 rounds, in my opinion, pretty easily. I'm going to take Kevin Holland in this fight, 2nd round TKO. Brunson might take him down once or twice in the first round. But when they're standing up, Kevin Holland has the advantage for sure. He's got an iron chin, as you saw in the Joaquin Buckley fight.
Hell yeah.
Joaquin Buckley was just fucking throwing bombs at his body and head while fucking Big Mouth is just talking to him. Like,
Not
nice
even out of
shot,
breath.
son, and then knocks him out one punch. So I want to. I'm gonna call this one. We're gonna see another possible highlight reel finish from the Trailblazer.
I do want to say one more cool fact about Derek Brunson. I don't know how many career fights does he have. 17 UFC fights, has 100% takedown defense. Never been taken down in his UFC or Strikeforce career.
I don't think he'll go taken down in this one either.
He's not
But
going to get taken down in this one either. But I think you're right. I think he is gonna. Kevin Holland's gonna win. It makes sense, the fact that Kevin Holland's got those heavy hands, even though he's got those like lanky ass arms. He's got heavy hands, and Derek Brunson, getting knocked out 3 times in 5 years. You're 37 years old.
hey, after that Izzy and John Jones fight kind of fizzled out, Holland versus Adesanya sounds like a fun one.
I'd watch it.
Think about the trash talk.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Like,
Holland
not
has
like
to win.
before the fight. I'm saying during the fight, they're gonna be like,
Mic him up.
yeah, please mic them up during the fight if this fight ever happens, because it'll be great. I do think that Kevin Holland isn't up to Izzy's levels when it comes to stand up, but he does show to have one punch knockout power, so
Mm-hmm.
you never really know.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I believe in Kevin Holland.
same.
I chose against him in the Jacare fight because I thought Jacare was just going to take him down for 3 rounds.
That was a very weird. You were such a big Kevin Holland fan, and then I went with them that fight, and you went against them.
Yeah, and I'm not making that mistake again.
Don't do it. Don't, and it's against a similar guy. Jacare might have been a little bit more over the hill. Derek Brunson is still showing a lot of promise, even though he's 37 years old. But we've seen him to get knocked out.
He's revitalized his career for sure.
The last 3 fights are crazy. Crazy.
Age 37, but like, this is a bad matchup for him. And hey, I think Derek Brunson goes out and wins his next fight, but he ain't beating Kevin Holland.
I don't think so either. I totally agree. So we're agreeing. We agreed on a lot this card, Dan. Probably the most ever.
Yeah, we only disagreed on 3 fights.
3 out of 13. So 10 fights we agreed on. That's 10 picks you guys are gonna go out there and make, right?
I hope so.
Yeah. I know I'm gonna make them for sure. I like them when we both agree, because
It makes me more confident when I place my parlays.
Yeah, I get all of them there. I start throwing huge
And
amounts.
then when fucking somebody gets robbed, I fucking literally fucking let off a semi-earthquake in my house.
All right, Dan. This was great.
Yeah.
Great time. We're gonna rebound this week. And
I mean, you had a good last week, so
yeah, but we're good. Yeah.
I just didn't.
No, it was even. Even is good.
Even-ish.
Even-ish. We'll leave it at that.
Fucking no contests.
I hate that. 3 in 2 weeks.
Yeah, ridiculous.
And it always fucks up your parlay too, because if you have it in a parlay and then it just gets cut, the price payout is like a lot different than what you were gonna.
Yeah, I made $30.
Yeah, like what the fuck? Like, how many fights are gonna get canceled on a parlay that you're gonna have? It's annoying. Hopefully we don't see any, and we just see some barn burners. Make up for it.
I wouldn't necessarily bet on the Holland and Brunson fight either. I think you just enjoy that one.
That might be a good.
That's gonna be my that's gonna be what I'm doing, at least.
Yeah.
I don't wanna bet on the main event. I wanna know if I'm in the green or the blue. I mean, green or the red by that time. If I'm heavily in the green, maybe I'll throw in a prop parlay. I mean a prop pick, like a plus 500 Kevin Holland second round knockout, and throw like
I like
bucks that way.
I like a Dolitze. What did I like? A Dolitze submission. That might be money. That might be like a plus 350, something like that.
Plus 600 maybe.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't fucking know. They're not up yet. But yeah, that'd be something to look at. I really like that. I might throw some money on that. That's a smart bet, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
All right, so this is No Brainer
MMA.
signing off. Hope you liked our picks this week. Like, subscribe, comment.
Mm-hmm.
The
For
usual.
sure.
Yeah. Please, any support helps us at this point. We're trying to grow. We're trying to branch out. We're trying to make more MMA content.
For
Me
sure.
and Connor are going to stick around after we sign off and talk about some ideas. Prospect video coming out at some point, and we're brainstorming some other good MMA content we can drop for you guys. So, anyway, those of you who are watching, we appreciate you. We love you, and yeah, just like, comment. If you don't fucking like us, you can tell us what you don't like about us. Maybe we'll tell you to fuck off. Maybe
I'm
we'll
going to.
change. If you throw some good input in there, maybe you make us change something. So yeah.
All right.
Anybody who's watching, thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for the
Appreciate the
support.
support so far.
Yeah, for sure. I love the comments. Comments are killing it.
Please comment on the main big video, because that's basically what I stick to, and that's what I'm trying to promote the most. So
Yeah, I totally agree.
I obviously do watch the clips, but it's
The big
mostly to
video
see
is better.
the comments.
For sure. It's all in one spot, so you get to look at like what other people are saying about all the fights.
Yeah, but yeah, appreciate you guys.
Awesome.
So
Signing off.
No Brainer signing off.
Hey.
Peace out.
All right, that was great, Dan. Good job.
All right, I liked my ending there.
That was good. You went in.
Did you like my fucking rant on Edmund Shabazz on Edmund Taverdi?
You bet your ass I did.
Because, dude, I wasn't planning on doing that. It just kind of happened.
Watching that tough season too.
I've been watching that tough season, and my hatred of Ronda Rousey and Edmund Taverdian has been fucking growing. Dude, yo, you should maybe stop recording just so it helps with the like that.